obviously it's taken a number of years to get to where we are now. But when you talk about operations and execution, you used to have to do that. You used to have to be that person. So how long did it take you to be able to say, I can let go of some of these things?
I mean, it's probably still taking me that time. We're in our 10th year, and I would like to believe I've let go of a lot more than I used to. But I'm a work in progress, right? And I believe so. Your confidence in your people, in your team, is going to help you a lot with that. So I have a lot of confidence in our people, which means that most things can now be delegated, and like most things, the business can run without me. Like that, I'm extremely excited about. Like that's always been a dream. But just because it can run without you doesn't mean necessarily that that it doesn't need you per se. So what I mean by this is that now, because things can run without you, all right, well, let's figure out how we're going to move it forward. What do the next 5 years look like? What do the next 10 years look like? What is that? And how do we focus on building for the future and not just maintaining in the present? So yes, I mean, it's taken years, and anytime I've shared this at any presentation or any keynote or anything like that, and I kind of tell the story of our evolution over the years from 2012 and my apartment, with $500 to my name to today, as we've grown a team of almost 100 people and 40 plus million in revenue, all this stuff. I think people don't realize that most of what they see really happened in the last 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
So meaning that our first conference, when you really think about it, it happened at the end of 2018, okay? And even then, the coaching program, the first workshop started in 2019. But what about everything that came before that? Even the first Tesla, that thing, we didn't give that one away until 2017. But what about 2012 to 2017? That was the dark ages. Those are the scariest times. We're in 7 days a week. There's no vacations. Thanksgiving, I remember you and I would come into the office, and then we'd leave and then have dinner with our family. That's what it was. I mean, even my birthday's on Christmas. I'd be working on Christmas, and people look at that and say, "Oh man, that sounds horrible." Well, what did you think it took? I mean, what seriously? What did you think this took? Pardon me, y'all. But I just it's this topic of patience. Yes. And I remember because we just had our year-end meeting with the team, and we were kind of talking about this one key word. Someone said patience, and I think patience is really important. Patience is important because it does take time. I mean, from 2012 to 2022, that was 10-year period of just unrelenting commitment, of so many trade-offs, of so much failure, of so much sacrifice. It was hard, really, 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 really hard. The experiences I had that I would not wish upon my worst enemy. Okay. But that being said, where I was impatient was I didn't want it to take 20 years. Okay, I didn't want it to take 30 years. And when you have this sense of urgency, people say, "Oh, it grew so quickly." Yeah, you see it now, but in 2012, no one knew us. 2013, no one knew us. 2014, no one knew us. 2015, 2016, you know what I mean? That happened. Also, how much money was Michael making? 2012, zero. 2013, zero. 2014, zero. 2015, zero. 2016, zero. You know what I mean? I don't think people see that.
They don't see behind the scenes.
Okay? My favorite restaurant at that time, Taco Bell. Okay. And I would think if I had a really, really great month, a great month, a strong month, where even when we hired a first employee, if I could just make sure the payroll was hit, if I had a great month on that, Friday night, I would go to Taco Bell. Okay. And I would just be like, man, you earned it. And that's where I'm saying I think that's why I have such a respect for any business owner, any leader that's kind of been through that journey, that's been in the arena for any prolonged length of time. I mean, even look, I don't care if you're a plumber. If you've been running a plumbing business for 10 plus years, weathering all these storms, dealing with all these problems, I mean, I commend you and I respect that because it really does, it does take a toll, I think, on people of just unrelenting pain and challenge and problem solving, things that you have to overcome from making sure that you can get the phone to ring consistently, to hiring the right people, to then dealing with the people challenges that arise, which I think are always the hardest part of any business, to just figuring out how we're going to grow and scale this thing, to having to develop new skills and capabilities that you didn't previously, have, that you now have to grow and learn. So from that standpoint, I think patience is important of knowing it's going to take a long time, but I'm committed to doing it the right way and building it the right way and making sure that we vet people appropriately, that we really do our due diligence properly, that we're like really investing in our infrastructure for the long term. Okay. That we're not trying to like, there's no get rich quick type stuff. There's no snake oil. There's no holy water, none of this stuff. Like, let's take the dirt road. Let's take the stairs to where we're going. Okay. And let's do it that way. But then where I think, you should have a lack of patience is over your daily efforts in terms of like maintaining a positive urgency, because putting off something a day becomes a week, becomes a month, becomes a year. And then you look back over that year. This is something I think I put it out in a vlog. Every year I always reflect and I always look back and say, like, of all the things that we set out to do this year, like what were the wins? What are the things that went well? What are the things that we got right? And then I look at it and say, well, where are the areas for growth? What were the learning lessons? But then am I satisfied? Am I like satisfied with the progress that we made? And I talk to a lot of people that are constantly living in regret. They're like, I wish I started earlier. I wish I would have done this earlier. I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would have made this investment sooner. I wish I would have started building out my team sooner. I wish I would have invested in this technology sooner. Whatever it is, it's never like, I wish I would have put it off.